Joining us now is Democratic Representative Andy Kim of New Jersey. He recently announced his plans to run for United States Senate. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We have reason to believe, as of now, that Senator Menendez will not only refuse to resign, but will be running against you in a Democratic primary for the Democratic nomination for Senate in New Jersey next year.
That's right. From all indications, after myself, the governor, and others called for his resignation last weekend, he said these lines that just stuck in my head. He said, "I am not going anywhere." And those lines kept me up all night, Friday into Saturday last weekend, where I just decided that, look, if he's not going to step down, then we need to give the people of New Jersey a choice. So that's exactly why I stepped up to run against him for the primary.
If he does step down, if that somehow happens, and this is someone who was indicted before and did not resign then, he got a hung jury. He got a hung jury, which means that in his trial, some jurors voted guilty, some voted not guilty. And that hung jury was good enough for him to just return to the Senate as if nothing had happened. But if he were to resign, do you believe New Jersey's governor should do this the way California's governor did it and appoint someone who will not run to hold on to the seat?
Well, look, right now it doesn't seem like the senator is going to resign, but, one way or another, I think we need to make sure that, the people of New Jersey have a choice in this. After everything that we've seen with Senator Menendez, one thing that I hear from people all over the state is that, we can't have backroom deals. We can't have this situation where it just seems like the decisions being made about our democracy and our politics are so far away from the people and being done by just, political elites. So, I want to make sure that we move forward, that the governor certainly can appoint, but I would also hope that we can have a very strong and rigorous process where the people can decide in the primary as well as in the general election next year.
One reason for someone like Senator Menendez to resign is that he desperately needs the paycheck. He actually needs that Senate paycheck, especially as a criminal defendant. He needs the Senate paycheck. So on the assumption that he just stays in there collecting that paycheck until the end, how should Democrats campaign around him and not get the stain of the Menendez corruption on other Democrats?
Well, I think this is a moment for the party, which is why I was glad to see that the governor and others stood up and called for his resignation. This is a moment where we say that integrity matters, character matters. I'm somebody who, honestly, I never thought that I would be in elected office, never thought that I would run for Congress. I did this because I felt like now is a time for change. I used to work in diplomacy. My first boss had this line that he would say. He said, you don't have good government unless you have good people working in government. And I think about that all the time. We have to make sure that we step up. And I hope to be part of that new generation of leadership. If elected, I'd be the fourth youngest senator in the country. I'd be the first Asian American elected to the United States Senate from the entire East Coast of the United States. That's why I think we have so much energy. We had people donate. We raised about $1 million just in our first week since I announced. So I hope people are excited about that. And if they want to learn more, they can go to andykim.com.
Representative Kim, I would like you to come back to discuss your candidacy in a positive way in terms of issues, but this Menendez issue is the one that dominates us on this subject tonight. Congressman Andy Kim, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.